Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm Jumping Jack Flash.
Ooh. And this is Scream Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and do this for 1 year. Guys, this is our 1 year anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. It feels like forever.
Yeah. So we've been officially recording this podcast for 1 year today. This is our 1 year anniversary episode. So for you who have been with us since the beginning, thank you. And for all of our new viewers and listeners, hi. Welcome to Scream Bloody Movies. So guys, we have a lot to talk about. We don't have a lot of horror movie news, so I'll just go over what we do. But what we do have today is a brand new segment of the show, where we're going to read some viewer mail that people have sent in to us for the 1 year anniversary episode. And if this goes well, we might have this as a semi-regular portion of the show. So maybe not every episode, but every few episodes, pull out the mailbag and read something from you guys. So be sure to comment down below or send us messages on the Facebook page or at our email address at screambloodymail@gmail.com. All right, guys.
Maybe I will have Clark sing the mail song from Blue's Clues, and we'll use that as the intro.
Except I do not want to get copyright strikes, so let's not do that.
Clark will be singing it. It will be fine.
We'll come up with a cool jingle.
Nobody's gonna copyright Clark.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He might not make it through all the words.
So all right, guys, let's get into the horror news. First, last week we discussed we looked at the new figure for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Remember that? We looked at Leatherface's weird figure.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
We'll jump back into the world of Texas Chainsaw because rumors have begun to swirl about a sequel to Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh.
In its debut weekend, it came in at number 2 spot on the global charts, so it did pretty well. We don't have a lot of information, just that the wheels are in motion. Now, how would you guys feel about continuing this version of the story? Or do you want them to go in a different direction? Or should they just stop making them all together? What do you guys think?
That's a tough question. I really think before I can answer it, I think we all need to watch it and review it, and then I'll have a better idea of how I actually feel about this movie.
I agree. I only watched it once.
Was gonna say that exact same thing. I can't really say one way or the other because I've not seen it.
Yeah.
See, I've seen it and I still can't decide.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it as well. There's things I like about it, and there's things that I, don't. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes.
Yep.
So yeah, that's one little piece of horror news. Next is Blumhouse is wanting to get the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street. And Jason Blum says that if he gets the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street to make a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, he will have Robert Englund back for one more movie. He said, when they said, well, he famously doesn't want to do it anymore, he said, I got 87-year-old Ellen Bernstein from The Exorcist back. I can get Robert Englund back.
Oh,
what are you
my
guys'
God.
thoughts on this?
That's incredibly cocky.
It is.
But I love it.
Yeah, I kind of love it too.
And honestly, this still leaves the door open for us to pitch an idea, Jamie.
That's true. We do have our Nightmare on Elm Street spec script. We can just toss it Jason's way.
Be like, hey, you're going to like this. We know it. will be just as arrogant as he
Use
is.
that same cockiness. Listen, I don't know about you, but I got Jake Hiles in my film. So
Yeah.
I can pretty much get anyone.
True.
I mean, I would love to see another Nightmare with Robert, of course. Of course.
100%, yeah.
It has to be Robert, right? I mean, if they do reboot, that's fine. They just need to do a very good job of recasting. And we'll talk about the remake eventually. We'll do an episode on it. But I don't think Jackie was the problem with that movie. I think the writing was the problem with that movie and the directing. Because I think he could probably be a fine Freddy. But you know who
The story
just-
was definitely
The same.
bottom of the barrel for sure.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
it was a terrible story. But man, I don't know. I was not impressed with his screen presence as Freddy.
You
But
know who
yeah.
you know who Robert says? You know who Robert handpicked as his successor as Freddy?
Who?
Kevin Bacon,
What?
which would actually be pretty good if you think about it.
I mean,
Whoa.
it would if
I
Kevin
didn't
Bacon were
see that
20 years
coming.
younger.
I think he could do it now.
I think he could do it now, but
Maybe
if you're
cover
trying to set it up for
makeup.
long term,
Yeah. But that's who
I
he
don't know
thought would
that-
be a good Freddy. I could see it. That wouldn't be a bad Freddy.
maybe they could have a Freddy multiverse and then
A
like have
Freddyverse.
Freddy.
Freddy.
Well, they-
Freddy. I like it.
I like it.
I like it. Freddy v. Freddy. Freddy off.
they haven't done Freddy in space yet, so there's always room for that.
That's true. That's true. They missed an opportunity, though. Jason X should have totally been called something like, Slasher 13, something to like play on Apollo 13. That's what they should have done. Because it's Friday the 13th, of course.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Damn it. All right. Do you guys remember? I don't know if you remember this, Lydia. You are a wee bit younger than the old man and I. Derek, do you remember
two get
these
married?
guys?
Yeah, I remember the action figures. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's Toxic.
These are the Toxic Avengers. Remember the Toxic Crusaders cartoon from the 90s?
Dude, vaguely,
They
but
are
yes, I do actually.
releasing this toy line.
That's awesome, dude. Look at Toxic. He looks great.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, Toxic.
This
That's the
was
word.
a great I used to love this cartoon when I was a kid. They're expensive. They're $55 each, but they do look phenomenal.
So first off, just think about this: the premise of that movie, and then it became a children's cartoon.
Yeah, well, it's totally crazy.
I guess it's the same thing with Beetlejuice.
Yeah, it is. It's
They
very
made a
similar to Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice cartoon, and that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I used to
I
love that
loved
one.
the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Did you watch the Beetlejuice cartoon, Lydia?
No. I mean,
You
not
never
that I
watched
can specifically remember. Like, I feel like I've seen it on when I was
You
a
are
kid,
in
but,
it!
like, yeah, exactly. It's like that was just my life. So,
I'm not gonna lie to you. When you said no, like my jaw like dropped. I was like, "How have you not seen this?"
It
I
was a
thought for
very
sure.
cool show back in the day, wasn't it, Derek? I really
It was.
really
I loved
it.
the entrance, like the intro to the show. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was really fun. I like that one.
Have you
a lot,
guys
too.
watched any of the cartoons that are on these days?
No, on the account that I'm an adult man with no kids.
That's fair. That is totally fair. I guess some of them that are more geared towards adults are still pretty good, but man,
Yeah, those are fine.
some of the
Yeah.
stuff for the kids is just like they're missing out. Trust me, Clark will know who the
He'll know about-
Ghostbusters are.
The real Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Yeah. Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice,
Looney Tunes,
Darkwing
of
Duck.
course. Darkwing Duck's a good
Count Duckula.
Yep. Just DuckTales in general ruled, right?
Oh, I know. I tried to get him while he was too young, but we'll get back into that one.
I've been
Okay,
watching
guys.
Season 2 SpongeBob.
Oh,
This week.
SpongeBob is also a great one. SpongeBob is also a great one. There's also Ah
So
Real
funny.
Monsters, which just totally hit my horror spot when I was a kid.
Yep.
I was like, yeah! Guys, this is the last bit of news. And in honor of our 1-year anniversary, I've got more Monsters news!
Can't wait. On the edge of my
I just
seat.
have nothing special, just a couple more images to share. And I wanted your feedback on these images, all right? Rob's posted some more on his Instagram. I told you I skipped a week and would double dip this week, and that's what I'm doing.
Have we
You ready?
determined that this is going to be a movie?
This is a movie, yes. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so here they all are with Rob, right? What do you think of that one?
Very green. Very red.
There's this one with Herman. I think he looks great, actually. Thoughts?
He does look really good there.
Yeah.
He's a little green, but
Herman's
guess it was
supposed to be
okay.
green.
well, I know, but this guy's like slime colored.
Lily. Your silence speaks volumes. Okay, move on once more. And Grandpa. I think Grandpa looks fantastic, guys.
Grandpa does look pretty cool. I love his hair
Yeah.
and his mustache.
Yeah. What do you think, Lydia?
I have a train going by, so I'm on mute right now.
Oh, okay.
Are you trying to allude that this is going to be a train wreck?
Oh, my goodness. What are your thoughts on this pictures, Derek? And we'll get Lydia's take after the train passes.
Grandpa looked great.
So you're still not a fan of Herman?
No, and that one, honestly, if his tone was a little like the actual green was a little lighter, he'd look better. Maybe, and it might just be the lighting in that photo.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you think, Lydia?
I think Lily, like everybody looks great, but I think like Lily Munster looked kind of like evil in that picture.
Yeah,
Like-
she looked kind of. Yeah.
She looked
She
kind of
looked like,
mad and sinister.
Herman forgot to flush the toilet, is what she looked like. I've seen that look a lot in my life.
You've ran into that situation before, have you?
I have.
That's hilarious. So that wraps up the horror news. Now, guys, are you ready for our new segment? Are you ready to read these 1-year anniversary viewer questions? All right, Lydia, let's start with.
Are
I'll have you start.
Are we ready?
Are you ready? You want to read these? You want to read the first one? You want Derek to read the
You want
first
me to read it? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll
You read the first one.
Okay, so the first one is from Jake, and he says, "What is your favorite episode so far?"
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you start? What's your favorite episode so far?
Okay, so we've had a lot of episodes, guys.
Yeah, we have. We've had
Um,
over 50. Over 50,
you
about
know what?
52.
Like the weirdest thing is that my mind is going to Children of the Night. And between Children of the Night and Puppet Master, those ones might be like my favorite to like remember back to. What about
Those are
you
good.
guys?
Derek, what's yours?
Man, Lydia. I'm gonna say LBJ, man. It was the original 1,000 viewer episode, and
Yes.
you don't know what breakfast is.
Why was it your favorite? Was it because of Lydia's hatred for it?
honestly, it was because of Lydia's hatred for it, and just like that entire episode, she was just like, "Why did we watch this movie?" And then it's been a very consistent joke throughout the series ever since. So I love it.
I have a couple. I'm thinking about. I think I really like Halloween because I love the fact that we all dressed up as different iterations of Tom Atkins.
Yes, that was so fun.
I thought that was
That
really
was
fun.
pretty fun.
And I think the episode's good too. You guys should check that one out. As far as what I think is my favorite and the most fun and the funniest, I would have to say it has to be. I mean, Children of the Night is really funny because we have some good jokes in there. We have fun with it. But there's another one that we have a lot of fun with too. Wolfman. I have a lot of fun with Wolfman too because that's where Derek's "Is this black and white or color?" was born. Was Wolfman one of our longest running jokes because that was early in season 1.
You know, is Derek colorblind? We may never know.
I am not colorblind. Thank you, Lydia.
Derek,
I was multitasking.
You want to read this next one?
Yeah, let's see. How old were you when you saw your first horror movie?
Who's this from?
And that is from Steve S. Samsonite.
I was way off. Derek, start. Yeah.
So, if there was no like statutory limit on this, CPS would be called to my mom right away. I'm gonna say it was like 6 or 7. Like we were real young. We were just like, fend for yourself.
Yeah, latchkey kids unite.
Yeah, so I maybe my earliest recollection of watching like A Nightmare on Elm Street, which came out, in the early. I was born in '83, so I'm guessing
it came
like
out in '84. Yeah.
'84, yeah.
Lydia.
Well, yeah, I would have to say about 6, probably like 5 or 6. I think we decided that I was 6 when I watched Scream, and that really messed me up a lot. Still to this day. So, yeah, I think we're around that age. I don't know if that was my first horror movie. So
but that's the first one you remember.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's I'm not good with like my own timeline. So it's like I definitely remember being like really terrified during that. So, and I was probably 6.
All right, guys, it was probably around 3. Probably around 3 or 4, watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. Hi, Mom and Dad. Yeah, Freddy was my first hero. I loved him. My Aunt Lindsay tells a great story that when I was around that age, 3 or 4 probably, between 4 and 5, we went on a walk to the park, and then I just jumped in the shadows and started like, and she's like, "Jamie, where are you?" And I was like, "I'm not Jamie, I'm Freddy." She was like, "This kid's gonna kill me."
That is the best, man.
Very young. Nightmare on Elm Street was the first horror movie I've ever seen. And it's one of my all-time favorites still. You can see Fred behind me. When is the next movie coming out? From Donna T. Well, that depends on what you mean by the next movie. If you mean Secret Admirer, that comes out next weekend. Next weekend, Secret Admirer premieres on YouTube. So that's when it comes out. If you mean after Secret Admirer, it's whenever we finish it. We are currently in pre-production for the next project. Which, can we announce the name of the next project, guys?
Let's do it.
You want to do it? 1 year anniversary? You want to do it? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but it's called Ghost Talk. That's the name of the next movie. So stay tuned for that. All right, Lydia, you're up.
Okay, let's see here. I lost my place. Oh, who gets scared the easiest? From Joey B.
I don't know who does. It's not me.
It's gotta be Derek.
What? I'm like a rock over here.
I don't know. I don't think any of us really get all that scared. It depends. Each of us have triggers, I suppose. If we're watching Scream, it's Lydia gets scared the easiest.
Yep, that's true.
If we're watching good movies, it's Derek. And then if we're watching bad ones, it's me.
Rude. You know what? I would say me, because the moment that somebody like has a cigarette in their mouth or like touches a cigarette butt, it like creeps me out. So I'll definitely.
We just all have our own triggers.
Yeah.
Like that scene from Silver Bullet where they're like trying to reach it and there's that cigarette, we would have died because I'd have been like, nope, can't get it, guys. I'm done. I'd rather let the werewolf eat me.
Oh man, that reminds me of when I told you how Robert Englund used cigarette ash to put underneath his
eyes
to look like his eyes are darkened, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, when he went in for the casting.
Freddy.
Yeah.
You reminded me of that meme with the alien where he's all.
Nope, I'm not dedicated in anything I do.
You're up, Derek.
Let's see. The easiest. What is your favorite Tom Atkins movie?
Oh,
I got mine.
What is it, Derek? What's yours?
We use it every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Night of the Creeps, man.
Mine too.
The Creeps.
Night of the Creeps.
Man, this is hard.
Yeah, it is. I love Halloween 3.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Halloween 3.
But man, Night of the Creeps is just the Tom Atkins show.
It is, man. It's so good, and like the fog is also
the fog. Ooh, yeah, the fog is pretty close. The fog is
just
beautiful. Man. Yeah, the fog is beautiful.
I'm gonna say fog. I'm gonna say the fog. I'm gonna stick with my guns on that. Even though I might have to Halloween 3.
I might have to join you and say the fog as well. Yeah, I agree. The fog.
Yes, it's so good. It's
just
good, and there are so many others.
But I do love Night of the Creeps and every Tom Atkins movie. Escape from New York. Tom Atkins is in that as well, and that is a fantastic, amazing movie.
He should be in every movie, and I think that's the whole point.
He is
of our podcast.
According to us, he definitely is.
He is in every movie, according to us. There's an alternate universe where he's always in it, and the movie's always better off for it.
Yep.
Okay, this is from Mr. T. Nice name. Will you guys have guests on the show? I pity the fool that doesn't answer this one, by the way. Yes, eventually we will have some special guests on the show. I think I already have a couple friends that are asking to be parts of certain episodes, but I think and they will be. I think the first guest, though, might be some cast members from Secret Admirer. When we do a breakdown of that. So stay tuned for that. Your turn, Lydia.
Oh, let's see. What movie are you most excited to see that is coming out? From Below Joe.
Below Joe. All right. Okay.
The only thing that could have been better was Blow Jamama.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jesus Christ, this episode's off the rails.
What movie are you most excited to see?
That's coming out Halloween.
The Monsters.
For me, it's Halloween Ends. How about you guys?
Was yours The Munsters, Lydia?
Yep, The Monsters.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to just stop talking about it.
Yeah, I can't wait till we stop talking about it too. I would say there's probably two. I really can't wait to see the end to the Halloween trilogy that they just started in Halloween Ends. And also Black Phone looks really good.
Black Phone looks really good too.
It looks fun.
I might check that out this week. I'd like to dig that one. That one's good too.
I can't think of any other movies that are coming out. I probably have one that's better than Monsters to say, but
Okay. Is it my turn or is it Derek's turn? Oh, it's Derek's turn. Derek, could you read this next one from Harry?
From Harry. So, what is your favorite horror movie kill scene? Oh my gosh.
Man.
Oh.
Favorite horror movie kill scene.
Should
Does
have
it
read
have
these
to
ahead
be
of
a horror
time.
movie?
Well, I would guess. I mean, they asked horror movie.
Yeah, they did say horror movie.
What is your favorite horror movie kill scene? I don't know. I mean, there's so many great ones. I'll give you.
I got it.
What is it?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Nothing. I like had an epiphany in my own head.
Go ahead.
All right, fine. It's it's when LBJ beats that person
Jesus
to death with the
criminy.
flapjacks.
Oh my
Jesus
gosh. Come
The
on.
giant flapjacks.
That's too much. I can name 3 of my favorite kills off the top of my head. I would say Freddy Krueger pulling Glenn into the bed.
Oh, damn, that's good.
I would say Jason smashing the lady up against the tree when she's in the sleeping bag.
Yep.
And I would say the Shape pinning Bob up against the wall and stabbing him up against the wall and then doing his head tilt. Those are my top 3. Because they're just so iconic in those
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a real one.
Yeah.
What's a real one, Derek?
From the original Resident Evil movie, where the leader of the squad is dodging the laser beams, and at the end they make a
grid.
What's it called? Yeah, a grid, because they're like, oh yeah, beat this.
Yeah.
Just turn them into a pile of cubes.
Yeah, that is a good one. What's yours, Lydia?
I want to say maybe at the end of Cabin in the Woods, what was it? Like the mermaid or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Does that count?
They prefer mer people.
Oh.
The fish monster thing.
Yeah, the fish monster thing.
I really love that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of movies that we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should have.
Those are
thought about that.
My favorite 3. I mean, they're the most iconic.
Yeah, yours are good for sure.
Who is the best slasher from Jason V? Well, I think we know who they want us to say.
Who's the best slasher?
Who's the best slasher? Ooh, this is... Well, I mean, who is it, guys? It's... is it Jason Voorhees and his, ability to just keep coming and brutality? Is it Freddy with his creativity and his, and the dreams? Or is it the Shape, the originator of the slasher? And, he has the most kills. Michael Myers has the most kills at this point.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
So who's the best?
Who's the best slasher?
Well, it sounds like Michael's the best slasher. He's got.
I would say
kills.
the Shape as well. I'd say the Shape. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably takes the cake on name alone, because I think it is amazing that in the script he was just called the Shape.
Yeah. And I mean, we are doing Halloween 2 tonight, so it has to be. Sorry,
Is that
Jason.
The movie we're doing? I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I watched Lumberjack Man 2 Waffles.
In black
if it
and
were
white.
out, I would recommend it.
All right. Lance W asks, I'll get through the last couple of these pretty fast, if that's okay with you guys. Speed round it?
Yep.
Sure.
What is your favorite creature feature?
Oh, creature features are my favorites. Oh, shoot, favorite creature. I always think
Godzilla.
of Pumpkinhead. Oh, nice.
Pumpkinhead's a good one.
Pumpkinhead is. I just love watching Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, that's a
The
good one.
creature in itself is so cool.
Derek, what's your favorite creature feature?
Is Leprechaun a creature feature?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
All right, I'll go with
I would
that.
say.
You know, lots of humor.
I would say either Godzilla or the first King Kong. Probably the first King Kong, 1933's King Kong. That's what I'm going to say. King Kong's my favorite creature feature.
I thought Derek was gonna say critters for sure.
I thought you were going to say Critters as well, man. Or
I'm throwing curveballs
Tremors.
at you guys.
Tremors.
Oh, Tremors.
Tremors is pretty legendary.
Tremors is a great one. Billy Stillies asks, is Lake Placid a classic horror movie? No.
No, this is debatable. Okay,
I really
so
like
Betty
Lake
White
Placid.
is in that movie.
I like the movie. Is it a classic horror movie? No.
It
guess
depends
not.
on what school you subscribe to. I would say yes.
I would
Just
say
saying.
no. If the school you subscribe to are current movies that were okay, then if that qualifies as a classic,
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's instant classics, but like I don't think this was one of them.
No,
you know?
no.
The blasphemy on this
I mean, it's just a good
podcast.
fun. It's just a good
It's
fun
a good creature feature, I would say.
Yeah.
It is. It is a lot of fun. One day we'll have to do it. But
Yes,
Betty
we
White,
will.
we love you.
We
All
did
right,
the Sammy Sosa.
It just felt right in the moment.
It did. It felt right. If you could
It looks
meet
good.
one horror film, if you can meet one horror filmmaker, who would it be? John Carpenter.
John Carpenter.
That'd be tough.
James
It would be between.
Did you say
Who'd you
James
say?
Bond?
James Wan.
Oh,
I thought
James
she said
Bond.
Jane Fonda. I was like, what?
we all heard something different. I was like, James Bond. Now, if we're talking about fictional characters, that's who I want to meet too.
I want a T-shirt with James Bond, Jane Fonda, and James Wan.
Yeah, just
The
all
same
over.
shirt.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, John Carpenter or Wes Craven would be the two films.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Wes, man.
Yeah, because he's no longer with us, and I would love to just see him again and talk to him. But
I want to meet M. Night Shyamalan.
if I can meet one, it would have to. It would have to be John Carpenter because he's influenced me the most. But Wes Craven is another huge one, and Sam Raimi.
You know who would
Oh,
have probably been the weirdest one to meet?
Who?
Guillermo
Victor Salva.
del Toro.
No.
Pictures.
Who did The Shining?
Stanley Kubrick.
Oh,
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick, man.
Oh, boy,
He'd have been
yeah,
a
that would
weird
be
one to
weird.
meet.
Yeah, it'd be amazing to meet Stanley Kubrick too, or Hitchcock.
Oh,
It'd be amazing to meet Hitchcock too.
oh, there's so many. I want to meet them all.
By the way, that question was from Thornton Here's a Boo. Manfred J asks, how does it feel looking back at your first episode?
I haven't watched it since it aired. That
Do you
would have been a
remember
good
anything
one to. Absolutely not.
So
I do.
we
I
did
remember
Pet Cemetery.
we did the first
Oh,
Pet
yeah,
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
No, now I do. Now I remember a lot.
I actually
I
just
think,
listened to it.
did you? What'd you
Yeah,
think?
I just listened to it last week. I was like really impressed because I remember thinking like, oh, we're so stiff and we just like aren't very good at this yet, and like hopefully we get better, and like being so like anxious and like all the terrible thoughts of like maybe no one will listen, and like
I still have that thought
all
sometimes.
yeah. But I was actually really impressed, and I thought it was good and entertaining and fun.
Yeah,
So
I remember
it was
having a
cool.
good time with it. And
Well, plus it's my favorite. So,
yeah, it's your favorite movie. I thought we did pretty good. I think we're way better at what we do now, a year in. Don't you guys feel like
But
we're
yeah, I
way
think
looser?
those first couple episodes were just like straight copies of whatever was recorded on Google Meet. So
Yes, we also hadn't edited
production
the
quality
episode.
has went up at least a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, for
it's
sure.
gone up quite a bit. I mean, our sets have gotten better. Derek's is either, I mean, since the fire, it's, you've had to change, but you had a set at the, at 1.2, and then I started building mine, and Lydia has hers. So we started getting better with that, and I think we are cohesive and really kind of bounce off each other real well now. And
Yep.
last but not least, last question that we have here, are you kidding me, is from Weasel Nuts. And Weasel Nuts asks, what horror movie could be adapted as a comedy and still be a good movie? Ooh, that's a pretty good question. What movie could be adapted as a comedy and still be a good movie? Well, I mean, we have to disqualify movies that already are that, like Evil Dead, obviously.
Yeah. Or Tucker and Dale.
Yeah. Do you have an answer for this, Lydia?
I'm like racking my brain right now.
I am too.
I got one.
Go ahead. What is it?
I think you could probably do Child's Play. I think you could do an adaptation that is a comedy.
You probably could. Yeah, that's a good one.
Alluding to like a Toy Story type movie.
We know you can do Dracula's because there's been Dracula comedies. We know you can do Frankenstein because there's been the best.
Oh, I got one.
Which is Young Frankenstein.
Right. I got one.
What is it?
I'm gonna say The Bat. Vincent Price movie.
Oh yeah.
It takes itself so seriously, and it's the funniest movie I've ever seen.
You know what?
If that was remade as a comedy, I would want to be a part of it.
You just hit it on the head. I think you just cracked the code. It's Vincent Price movies because I was thinking of The Tingler.
Really? Yeah. Well,
are we sure that that's not a line of toys?
No, it's so silly. It's good, but it's silly. Yeah.
Yeah. Vincent Price movies nowadays. I mean, like, yeah. I don't know. The Bat, you got to watch it. It's so funny. We're gonna have to do it on here soon.
So, I mean, technically, you could probably make The Fly funny too. Instead of like it being horrific, he just starts to like kind of have like fly traits.
Yes.
Like he goes and like just is annoying to people, or he just goes and jumps into people's soup.
Yes. Yeah, The Fly. Just like any Vincent Price movie needs to be turned into a comedy.
I agree. All right, thank you guys for writing in those questions. We have a Facebook post up now that'll be open for the end of the week for you to put some questions there. You can also leave comments down below for questions. And of course, go to screambloodymail.com or screambloodymail@gmail.com and check it out. Put some questions in there. All right, guys. Now that we got all of our 1-year anniversary festivities out of the way, let's bring in this special episode by taking a look at Rick Rosenthal's directed 1981, John Carpenter produced, written by, and scored Halloween 2. So, what are your guys' experience with Halloween 2? Start with you, Lydia.
I've definitely seen it on, but I guess I never like fully sat down to watch it because I didn't remember a lot of it, and I was kind of shocked, and it kind of felt like a new movie to me.
That's always the best.
It was awesome. I had a great time, like, just experiencing it for the first time and like fully understanding everything. So that was
Letting
pretty
it wash
exciting.
over you.
Yeah. So I
What
guess
about
this was my
you?
first time.
Jumpin' Jack Flash. What was
First off, you get the reference? Anybody?
I mean, from the song?
I'm pretty sure it was a Whoopi Goldberg movie.
It is. Yep. It's a Rolling
Okay.
Stones song.
Yeah. Man, I have no idea when I saw this movie for the first time. I can tell you it's been easily 15 plus years since I've seen it. So while it wasn't maybe as distant a memory as what Lydia had experienced, there were beats and scenes from the movie that I recalled pretty well. So yeah, definitely a movie that we grew up with, because it was made in 81.
Yep.
I was born in 83, so syndication, baby.
So I've seen this movie a ton. This is one of those movies I remember seeing for the first time. I remember the first time I watched it, I was with my mom. We lived on 3rd Street, and it was during the middle of the day, and Halloween 2 was on. And I remember Mom watching it, and I sat down to watch it with her, and it scared me. I mean, it scared the crap out of me. I thought the Shape was the most terrifying. I told you guys when I was younger, the Shape terrified me. He was the one that scared me. And I remember vividly, a couple of scenes. The opening I remember really well, because I remember Mom saying, "Oh, this is where the new movie starts," because opens with the beginning of Halloween into Halloween 2. And then I remember the ending of the Shape walking out of the fire. I remember that because I watched it, and then he walks out of the fire, and I was like, no! Like, what? I lost my little damn mind. Why? You just can't kill him. And then after that, this obviously Halloween is my all-time favorite movie. And so this one I have watched quite a bit. I used to watch this all the time around bedtime. Like it was a comfort movie for me, so I would like doze off to it. So I didn't really need to watch this movie this week, honestly, for the podcast, but I gave me another excuse to watch it. Also, I watched the Shout Factory 4K disc, and it's beautiful. They did a great job with it. So it was great watching this clean, pristine print of this movie as well. So what do you guys want to talk about first? Where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about the Shape first?
Sure, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so the Shape is played by a different actor. It's Dick Warlock is playing the Shape as opposed to Nick Castle. And what do you guys think of the Shape in this movie?
He's not bad. He's definitely like noticeably different. It's like specifically the mask is just.
It's the same mask.
It's the same mask.
It's the same mask. Here's the thing. It's the same mask. It's just was under Deborah Hill's bed for 4 years, and she was a heavy smoker. And when they put it on Dick Warlock, his head is whiter and shorter than Nick Castle's. So
really?
It elongates it this way. That's why it looks more thick this way as opposed to this way. It's because of his head shape.
Wow.
But it's the exact same mask as the first movie.
Never would have guessed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. That's really funny. And so part of that is they replay at the very beginning of this the closing moments of the previous movie.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like, it's fresh in your mind what it looked like. So to Lydia's point, because this all occurs in the same night.
Yep.
It's just like, a longer movie. But yeah, you could definitely tell the shape of his head is different, or it was. I too thought it was probably a different mask. That makes total sense.
Yep, it's the same mask. So yeah, I like the Shape. I think he's fine in this movie. I think he's pretty good. There's scenes where he's really scary, and there's scenes where they do a great job of lighting him.
For sure.
I just don't like the way he walks and moves. I think he's too slow. And he also has this like robotic arm down at his side a lot of times. And I don't love that. You know how the Shape should be. he should glide across the room. You know what I mean? He just has this otherworldly glide about him. When Nick Castle walks from point A to point B, is just like, oh, you know. And the same thing with James Jude Courtney in the new ones. He just glides across the room. Dick Warlock's a little rigid, I feel like. What do you guys think?
I think you would know better than anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't quite pick up on the different like gait that he had, but yeah, for sure. I would imagine your familiarity with this movie.
I just feel
You've
like he's a
got it.
little
You're like-
robotic. He's just a little robotic.
Yeah, I could. I remember scenes where thinking, you know, he's very stiff.
Yeah, that's a good word for
Yeah.
it. But you know, so of course, Dr. Loomis is back and Laurie Strode is back, and it picks up right after the events of Halloween 2. I love the opening to this movie, the POV shot of the shape. This whole opening bit. What do you guys think of this? I really like it.
Yeah.
Like after he's walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After he's been shot.
So it's so the only thing I didn't like about it was that I don't think they had his breathing. Because in the POV shots in the first movie, I'm pretty sure that anytime that they did that, they had his breathing in the background. Does that make sense?
Well, they did, but usually in the original movie, they're also not POVs. He's usually in the corner of the frame in those scenes. It's just when we used to watch him in VHS, we thought of the point of view because they cropped him out.
Sure.
But
I mean, there's
yes,
the very beginning where he puts. Yeah.
Yeah, they usually hear the shape's breath. So yeah, that's a little nitpick, but I love the way it's shot. I think it looks gorgeous.
It does look good. The only question, here's the question I have. Like he goes in to get the knife from this old couple, right? And he doesn't kill the old couple, but then he goes next door and he kills the young girl. Like
babysitters.
How do we know he didn't kill the old couple?
Because he walks away from him. Remember?
Yeah.
He grabs the knife and then walks out of the door. She puts her hand in the blood and screams. And the shape is walking across the street.
Because he was still standing there.
No, he walks out. He walks out from behind her. I love that shot too, where she's there. You know, you see them watching the TV and you see the shape behind her, and then he just turns and walks out the door, and then she screams, and the shape just is walking across the street to the neighbor. It's those teens, Derek. That's what I think.
yes.
This kill actually was added in post by this kill. Why this kill feels like the best and most suspenseful is because this was shot by John Carpenter. This is a John Carpenter insert.
Really?
Yeah, because he felt like there needed to be an opening kill. It needed to be scarier than it was, so he added more gore. What do you think of that opening kill?
It's fun. It is suspenseful. And you can definitely tell that there is a difference between the first movie and the second movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meaning that, like, so some of the shots were reused.
Yeah.
Like one that comes to mind was where Michael kind of comes out of the shot, like they slowly light him.
He tries to emulate Carpenter's style. That's what he wanted it to feel like one movie. Rosenthal did. But he's just not as sure of a hand as John Carpenter is.
He surely is not, yeah.
So that's part of it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like this opening bit. I think that opening kill's good. I also love when he's in the alley and we see Loomis and he's like, I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. Let's talk about Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis right now. What do you guys, I mean, he's still great, right?
Yeah.
He is still great, but like there's a scene where it's actually here at the beginning, kind of where they left off from the last movie to this movie. Mm-hmm. He says something to one of the characters, and it just.
Oh,
Go ahead.
it's one of my
Maybe.
all-time favorite lines is at the beginning. He says, tell him he's on the loose. And he's like, is this another joke? I've been trick-or-treated to death. And he says, you don't know what death is.
It was like, yeah, and so when he like went to run off, it seemed, I don't know, like and maybe I'm just reading too much into this, but it just felt not Loomisy.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was right in line with.
And it wasn't the line. I think the line, like the lines that were spoken were fine. It was when he ran off. I don't know. It seemed weird.
Well, I thought it was fine. I think he's just trying to find where the shape went because he has his hand covered in the blood from where he touches it, and then he's just looking around trying to find him.
I'll tell you what, if I were the police, I would have definitely taken that guy's gun away.
So, yeah, actually, that leads me to something. Sheriff Brackett's back for a brief bit here.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he's kind of a different character, I feel like. Like, for some reason, inexplicably, he blames Dr. Loomis for letting Michael Myers out, which he clearly did not.
Right.
Like, not at all. And he's like, you let him out. His own goddamn doctor. He's like, no, I didn't. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally pulled up to the gate and he's out.
Yeah, that happened right after he saw his daughter, right?
Before, he says it before he sees his daughter, then after he sees Annie. Yeah, both times. Yeah, he says it twice. And it cracks me up.
I mean, in a moment of grief, I guess you could, but yeah, and that's more or less how I felt like, because that's a really good example. I felt like the direction that maybe the director told these actors to like go with their characters. There were some like continuity issues I felt like that were there between the way they acted in the first one and the second one. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that one is the only one I can really think of because I feel like Loomis is Loomis. He's perfectly fine. He's exactly how he is in the previous film. And Laurie is Laurie. Except we'll get into the criticism of this movie at the end, but that's one of the criticisms I have with it. But all in all, I quite like this movie. So Laurie is transported to a hospital, and we're introduced to our new characters. What do you guys think of these new batch of characters that we're introduced to here at the hospital?
I like them. I think some are more like memorable than others.
Mm-hmm.
Just like based on a first watch kind of. And it's so weird having a first watch like this where I'm so familiar with the first one and most of the other ones. And I just like have somehow skipped this movie like all these years. So it's so strange like to fill in some gaps and to like see these people that it's like why didn't I ever watch this movie? But I really like the guy, and I can't remember his name, but the guy who's kind of like really sympathetic and
Jimmy
likes
Jimmy, played by Lance Guest, who of course stars in the classic Jaws: The Revenge.
Nice.
That's where I remember him from.
That is where you remember him from. Yep.
Yeah,
Jimmy is good. I like Bud myself.
Dude, Bud is the older guy, right?
Yeah.
One who calls Jimmy college boy. Dude, he's great.
Amazing.
I love the scene in the. Yeah,
I like
it
him
on my
too.
face. Reminds me of something my brother might say, but
it does. He kind of has a J quality to him. Yeah.
There's great dialogue at this scene where he's like the other nurse was like, "Don't you ever like every other word out of your mouth is a cuss word?" And he was like, "Well, I guess I'll just fuck it up." It was really hilarious.
I like that. Yeah, I like how he's like, she saw him, Michael Myers, and he's like, he didn't escape till last night. She's a goddamn moron anyway. God. And then, of
Yeah.
course, we're introduced to the other nurse who he is seeing. And I really love her introduction scene. Where the nurse, where I love the way this is shot and staged. I think it's really good. So it's like a oneer. It's all a oneer. So she comes in the frame. We see this guy with the boombox cross us. Then she comes in to frame with her friend. She's talking about bobbing for apples and whatever. And then we find out that she's going to be late and she has to get to the hospital and all this stuff. And they get in the car and they leave. We follow Boombox Boy, and he's wearing like a cowboy hat. And he bumps into the Shape while on the radio. It's talking about Lori being transported to Haddonfield Hospital. So the Shape hears where she's been transported. He bumps into him. The Halloween theme kicks in, and we follow the Shape as he walks off. What do you guys think of this scene?
It's so good. It's awesome.
It really is.
Loved it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the way it's juggled is really good. And I like that they use that boombox so that way we understand how the Shape knows where she is. It's pretty.
Yeah, because if you miss that scene, because they're like Dr. Loomis is having a hard time like trying to figure out where he went and all this stuff, and so if you miss that scene, you're like, how did he know that she would go there?
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I guess if it's the only hospital in the area and she needs medical attention, but
yeah,
besides
I mean, there's that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about Ben Tramer.
Oh, Ben Tramer.
What do you guys think of this scene?
He got hit by the car.
Yes.
That killed me. That broke my heart.
It makes me laugh every time because that fucking car goes up.
Yeah. No, it does for sure. But like how terrifying and tragic that is. And like just knowing that that's who she had a crush on. Like that is so devastating.
What do you think of this bit, Derek?
Man, it reminds me of a scene from Forrest Gump where he says shit happens.
Jesus Christ. Great insight.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Jesus.
No, I like it because I like the music in this movie is great. The music in this movie is just A+ great. I think that the score for Halloween 2 might be just as good as the score for Halloween. John Carpenter did both. And I like the electronic remix of the Halloween theme. But
I was gonna say it's so similar but like different.
So it's more synthy.
It's aged a couple years, you know?
Yeah. Instead of the
like
classic piano, it's all synths. Yeah, it just rocks more. It's a little more rocking. And I like when music cues kick in and it's just like, yes. Excellent.
Yeah, for sure.
So the Shape heads to the hospital and there's this great shot of him when she pulls up to the hospital in her car and we see the shot of the mirror and we see the Shape in her car mirror. That's a fucking great shot. I really love that shot too. So Lori is in the hospital. My one criticism with this movie is that Lori is in bed from 2/3 of the movie almost, like a good chunk of the movie, at least half of it, which makes sense because she's hurt, but it doesn't give our heroine a lot to do. Kind of the same thing with Halloween Kills, I guess. But she's just literally held up in a bed for most of it. But the Shape is on his way there, or he makes it to the hospital, and he's lurking around. So we have tons of shots of just the Shape walking around. There's one in particular that I really enjoy, where he walks into the baby area, the newborn. What do you think of that bit, Derek? Go ahead and describe it.
Well, he's hiding, I think. trying to avoid the people, and so he's overhearing a conversation that's happening on the outside of this. But yeah, you're like, oh no, what is he going to do to those little kids, those little babies? But
Yeah,
that was my thought.
Puts them in jeopardy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
didn't
and
think
then
that.
completely
I didn't
annoys
get that
or
at all.
annoys.
Did not think that they were in jeopardy at all for some reason. I was just like, oh, there's a baby in it. Like,
I love that shot where we can see him in the background in the window while they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they just turned, they could see him, but they don't see him, and he's just, the voyeur that he is, he's just lurking, and then just walks across the hall. It's a cool shot.
There's
could
a
you
scene
imagine?
where oh, go ahead.
Could you
Whichever
imagine
way.
it, like what would have happened to this movie if like Michael Myers just would have like slaughtered a bunch of babies?
Yeah, it
Like,
would
this
not have been a good one.
No, it would have not gone anywhere. People would hate it.
What were you gonna say, Derek?
There was a cool scene where the security guard is not paying attention whatsoever.
Oh, right. It's playing Night of the Living Dead
Mm-hmm.
on the TV.
And the shape just walks across
Like
the
they do.
courtyard.
Yeah, the shape walks
Yeah.
across the courtyard on the TV, and then when he buzzes her in, the shape sneaks in.
Mm-hmm.
When he buzzes her in. Let's talk about this security guard, Mr. Garrett. He has a memorable little scene, doesn't he? What do you guys think of his scene?
I'm trying to remember what happened.
So
I know he gets
So the phones are out. And he goes to
Oh,
like
okay, yeah.
he goes to check on him out in
Yep.
the garage area, the shed area. And he's lurking around. He gets scared by a cat, of course.
Yes.
Classic cat scare. And then he's going through popping locks. What do you guys think of his death scene here?
Okay, so does he have the walkie-talkie?
Yeah, he's trying to
At this
communicate with. Yeah.
Yes, and it's not going through. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
this whole scene. I like this whole.
I think the
sequence.
scene is good. It's really suspenseful. Yeah, it builds up the
Mhm.
tension pretty well.
Yeah.
And then he dies the same way the sheriff dies in Friday the 13th Part 2, which were both released the same year, by the way. Good old hammer to the head.
Yep.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's hiding behind the door when he closes it. He smashes him with it. So I've got to talk about a little cameo here. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the news reports are going through, and when we see Annie's death, there's also a really good one-er shot where we follow one news reporter, then pick up another news reporter talking to her intern. We follow with her to pick up Loomis and Brackett walking up to find Annie's body. But that news reporter, the intern, do you know who that intern is?
Mm-mm.
It's Dana Carvey.
No.
It's Dana Carvey. It's Garth.
No.
What?
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Lydia doesn't believe me. She's looking it up.
I'm looking it up.
Now I'm
There's
gonna
no
have to redo that.
Yep. He plays Barry McNichol, I guess is his character's name. He's literally just,
Shocked it was credited.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that he has a name, to be honest. What are you going to do? But yeah, so that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that blows my mind.
So we get a couple of cool Loomis scenes around this time. We get Loomis. He's with the deputy Hunt. He's with Deputy Hunt, and they're they go to the Myers house. They see them throwing shit at it, and he says, "This is a wake," and then he has this great speech, talking about how the nurses were unprepared. They didn't know what they were dealing with. And he goes, "Did you know?" When he said, Yeah, I knew. And it plays that great dun, 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 dun music cue, one of my all-time favorite music cues in any movie. Oh, so good.
So good.
Donald Pleasance just is the man. He's the best. So, the shape starts killing folks off in this hospital. And let's start going through these deaths. So we have a couple of them happen off screen, actually. So the doctor, Dr. Mixter, is killed off screen. And we have one of the nurses, the nurse that, of course, Bud hates. She goes to get Dr. Mixter when shit's starting to fall apart. And he's in the chair. And we see like this great shot of him, like just his one eye. And she spins around and he has a syringe in his eyeball.
Syringe, yeah.
And then we get the callback that you were talking about, Derek, where the shape bleeds out from the darkness, which is still a great shot. And then he stabs her in the temple and injects air into her temple and kills her.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Derek?
Hated it.
Hated it. I actually thought the shot of the doctor in the chair looking at the nurse was like really great.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. And the other one, I guess, was, homage to the first one. Sorry.
Yeah.
But, the first one is like absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And it's,
one of the best.
It's so iconic. I feel like, I don't know.
I like this
Like
one. I like him coming out of the dark in this one. I think it's good still.
Yeah,
It's not as good.
It's not, but it's
like,
not good.
I was
I
like,
feel like
there
you
it
cheated.
is.
Yeah.
You found Garth?
And
No,
then
no,
we
no.
have... What?
I was just saying, like, that him coming out of the shadow like that, like, got me. Like, but it was like not like I was so scared, but it was like, oh, he's doing the thing.
He's doing the thing. It's like that Simpsons. Say the thing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he I think that's fine. After he stabs her in the temple and puts air into her temple, he does the head tilt as he's looking at her in a close up, and it's a pretty good shot with the green lighting. It looks pretty cool.
I love the fish tank lighting.
So do you guys think?
Yeah, the fish tank lighting's really good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So do you guys think she was an airhead?
She was after he got done with her.
Oh my gosh.
So that's her death. And then we get the death of Bud and the other nurse in the hot tub. My favorite death of this whole movie. What do you guys think of this scene?
About this scene?
Talk about it, Derek.
No, I don't want to talk about all of it, but okay. So they're using this. I don't think it's a makeshift hot tub.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
like a hydrotherapy. It's a hydrotherapy. Yeah.
Yep. And Bud is just chilling in the hot tub, and the nurse is getting ready, and she comes and joins him, and they're getting all hot and bothered in this hot tub, and then she tells him to get out for some reason, and
the shape starts to turn up the heat on the hot tub, and it starts to get hotter. So she's like, go check the temperature.
Yeah.
So Bud goes to do that, and what happens to Bud, Derek?
He gets strangled, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so this next part, let me tell you, if I were Michael,
great. Yeah.
I probably would have been like, you know what, I'm going to take a break, guys. She comes out
a different kind of stabbing, if you know what I'm saying.
She's not. I mean, he comes up from behind her, and she's not really paying attention. She's like kissing his hand and all this stuff,
biting his thumb and shit.
Yeah, very playful. And then she looks up, and then he kills her, and it's just like
he doesn't just kill her; he murders her in the best way possible in this scene. So he takes her head and starts it looks like he's going to drown her into the hot tub. But he keeps pulling her up, and each time he pulls her up, her face gets more and more scalded. So he's like burning her face off with the hot tub water until she finally is dead. What do you think of this bit, Lydia?
Yep. Pretty good. Pretty nasty.
It's a good scene, right? It's a good kill.
Yeah. No, I really like the whole scene. I thought the acting was incredible in this whole scene.
Yeah.
Everybody did amazing.
I love her, like, the playful part that you were talking about, Derek. That scene is so scary. Because it's so, like, you're like, no, what are you doing? And she's, like, biting his hand, and you're like, oh, no, you don't know. No. It's like, it's, like, all dirty and shit. His hand's all dirty, and...
Yeah, it's
that
so
actually
dirty.
did cross my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, the hand, where has it been all night?
Yeah.
Like, she had to have known.
And
she
then
had to, like...
What, when it tasted like metallic, like blood?
Yeah, tasted like
Do you have
just
a bloody
someone
nose? What?
Just been soaking in a tub.
She turns, and I like that shot of the shape too. That shot of it, that close up of him when he grabs her. It's a good shot. This is my favorite scene of the movie. It's great stuff.
I think it's my favorite too. It's just so solid.
Yeah, very solid. So, Nurse Alves, which is the head nurse, also dies off camera, but she dies in a super gnarly way. So Jimmy goes to get Nurse Alves because Laurie's been starting to... Let's talk about it. We have to talk about the twist. We have to talk about all of it now. We're finding out that Laurie is Michael Myers' sister, right? I mean, this
happens in a car.
Yes, so Loomis finds out in the car. Yes, so Loomis and Hunt are at a school, and Nurse Chambers from the first movie shows up with a marshal because the governor's ordered him back. Says he doesn't want him anywhere near it because the effects it's gonna have on Smith's growth. So she tells him the story, Derek, like you were alluding to, that there's a secret, a sealed file, and that she is actually Michael Myers' sister, which is why he's so infatuated with her, and why he's stabbing sisters in the school and stuff like that. So what do you guys think of the sister twist? I mean, now it's kind of just the way it was for 20 years, right? I mean,
right,
this was part of the mythology. It's hard to separate it.
Yep. But now we can separate them because
in the new one, they're not. Yeah.
Which is crazy for me, as this being like a first time watch, and I've seen like most of the other movies and like know the story pretty well. It's like it connected a huge dot for me. It was like, oh, here's like the moment they find out about this.
Here's where that happens.
Cool seeing Laurie Strode be like, Michael Myers, the kid in the house.
That is a great scene.
What does that have to do with anything? Like, that blew my mind. I loved it. I was like, this is awesome. And then at that point, it's not like they're related or something. And then it's not so later that it's like, oh, it's the sister.
Yeah.
And then it's like they could have still just had that scene and left this all out.
They could.
So it's just, I don't know one way or another, which is the right move,
choice,
because I don't think it's a terrible idea, but it's just it was a shocking twist at the time,
yes,
which probably worked really well.
It probably did.
So actually I thought it was a pretty compelling twist, because you kind of didn't see it coming, but then it kind of made sense. I mean, more or less like him following her into the second one and actively looking for her. That part, it made sense. Now here's a part that I don't know that they fully explained, or like they introduced it as like an undertone, but like when they're in the school and he stabbed the sister and he wrote in blood, I think, Sam Hain. And then
Salwin is what he writes. They mispronounced it because Rick Rosenthal didn't know how to pronounce Salwin. So he told the actors that it's Sam Hain. That's Salwin, which is the Celtic ritual that Halloween is based off of. So Sam from Trick or Treat is a play on Salwin. And he's called Sam because of Halloween 2 and Sam Hain.
Okay.
That people mispronounce it. But Salwin.
Yeah. Because then in this same scene, Loomis in the car scene where he's learning about all this this backstory with Laurie Strode, starts going into all these Celtic lore, all this Celtic lore, and so I don't know. It seemed like that they were going to make a connection to that, but I don't know that they ever did.
So this is a little side tangent, but in the novelization of Halloween, I think it's the first Halloween. In one of the novelizations, either Halloween or Halloween 2, there's a whole opening chapter. I think it's the first Halloween, where like it takes place in the distant past, like Pilgrim era past, and somebody was possessed by something. This Samhain is the Celtic, you know what I mean? Celtic power. And then it jumps to the beginning of John Carpenter's Halloween, and it's heavily hinted that this curse, the family was cursed, the Myers family, and this is their curse being realized, is this entity taking over little Mikey Myers. Now, none of that is in any of the films, but I think John Carpenter was kind of hinting at some kind of power with the Lord of the Dead and the Celtic ritual of Samhain.
Did he
just
have
to give
any
him, just to
say
give
in
him
those novels?
I don't think so. I think they just based him off of his script and then, would flesh out bits. So what usually happens with movie novelizations. So I'm not sure, but I think he's kind of laying groundwork to, if they wanted to explain the shape, they could. Instead of it being,
so like
none of that's in the original.
Sixth son of your bloodline.
Yeah, because none of
will
that's in
be
the
a
original.
demon.
Because it scared them that the shape is just evil. The shape is evil. That's what it's just pure evil. But yeah, so the twist happens, and then Laurie knows something's going on. So she, in a kind of drug fogged bit, is like wandering around the hospital. And while she's doing this, the shape is on the prowl. Jimmy goes to find Nurse Owls, and she is dead. All the blood's been drained from her body, and is all over the floor. And old Jimmy slips and falls. Yeah, he has literally like a, an IV pulled out from her that's dripping blood out. Literally bled her out.
And then he slips and falls.
See all the blood.
Yeah.
He doesn't die, does he?
So no. So
does he?
So here's the thing.
I think he does.
In the original, there's actually an extended ending to Halloween 2, where when Laurie gets into the ambulance, Jimmy is in there with her. His head's all wrapped. So if you want to take that, he survived. But if you don't, then who knows? His fate's undetermined.
Yeah. I assume that he survived because he just fell down.
Yeah. Looks like he got a pretty bad concussion.
Yeah, he would have definitely gotten a concussion.
That's one of the scariest things to me. Like, it just slipping and falling. That's it. That's what's taking you down. Like, that's horrifying to me.
Yeah. And in somebody else's blood.
That happen to anybody.
Is that like, oh man, Chuck choked on a peanut?
Yeah. It's like this
like
simplest.
One of those.
I would rather be like slashed,
Yeah, me too. Go out in style.
We almost
exactly.
We almost lost the president to a pretzel once. So scary stuff out there.
Or stairs. I heard stairs almost took one out too.
Ramps are real terrifying sometimes. So the shape is stalking Laurie. What do you guys think of this chase scene? First of all, I love the beginning of the chase scene where the shape, where Laurie turns around and the nurse is calling out to her, and he stabs her and lifts her up with the scalpel, and you see her feet or her shoes hit the ground.
Yeah.
Her feet relax and her shoes, her clogs fall off.
Yeah. That's a great kill. That's a great one.
Yes. At this
point, definitely harkens back to how strong he is.
Mhm.
Yes, for sure.
Which
Yes.
there's another
Bit here in a
another
minute. Yeah.
demonstration of strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think
So
of
at
this chase scene?
At this point, like that happens, and then the music kicks in, and
Yeah.
the chase scene starts, and I literally sat up and yelled, "The chase is on!" I just like got up and like yelled it, and like Jake was just sitting on the couch next to me, like I did not need to yell that. I was just like, "Here we go!" I got so pumped up when that music kicked in.
Well, the music is excellent. What do you think of
Good.
this chase scene?
It's scary as hell.
It is pretty scary. If the shape moved a little better, I would have liked it more. But I do like the confined space that she's in, and that she has to climb up into this window to escape, and he starts slashing at her as she's trying to. And then, the thought of hoping this elevator closes in time before he gets to you, and that his hand.
He let her go. He
Yeah.
let her. Don't you think? I mean, his hand is in the door.
Well, yeah.
The door could have just opened right back up. He could have muscled it. He's so strong.
Well,
he let
this is
her go
this
because
is
he
the
wants to
80s.
keep
I don't
fighting.
know if maybe this is the 80s. Maybe elevators were way more dangerous and just chopped off limbs. Back
Yeah,
then.
but his hand is in it.
It's
He gets
pretty
it out
close,
easily.
yeah.
He could have just opened it. He just picked up a woman off the ground with one arm.
So
He could have
yeah,
opened that door.
I think it's
Yeah,
just.
I'm with you, Lydia.
I think it's so much. It's scarier to think that he was just like.
You want to
let
know
her
what
go.
I
Go
think?
get her.
You want to know what I think?
What do you
I
think?
think that it's a not a very good directorial decision to have his hand be there. They thought it would be scary, and it's like I've said before. Sometimes, if in order for the scare, you have to throw logic out the window, and I think that's what that was, throwing logic out the window and saying, it'll be so scary if it's here, regardless of if the door would open. That's my 2 cents. But I like it. I think it's good. I really like when she's I think it's scarier when she's in the parking lot. I think the parking lot is really scary.
Oh yeah. Yep. I mean, like they really like I always bring this up, but like there are these moments that I think if you can remember back to your scariest nightmares, these little moments are in them. Like when she finally sees someone to help, and
Yeah.
she's screaming and nothing comes out. And it's like those little moments, and like running through a hallway in a hospital from someone, and when you're kind of drugged and loopy, those are like my worst nightmares. It's like that.
The movie gets shit for how stark the hospital is because it should be busier in real life. Yeah, you have to take some artistic license. But I think the images in the hospital look great. I love that setting. I think it looks scary as hell when the shape's just walking down the hallway, like when he's down like a desolate, empty hallway by himself. It's really scary. It's really good stuff. And Jimmy, of course, I think it's so, oh man, it gives me anxiety thinking about, you're like, oh yeah, finally, we're here. And he passes out on the fucking horn. And it just, oh.
And it just looks at the door.
Yeah, just so scary.
You just get the shot of the door, and you're just like, is he gonna come out of the door? He's coming for me. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Of course, at this point, simultaneously, Loomis is on his way with the deputy. He pulls out his gun and fires, and he says, "What is it you fellas do? Fire a warning shot?" And he shoots, and the deputy spins around, and he's like, "I would handcuff you to the wheel, but I think I'm gonna need you in there." So they go inside. Lori sees them and can't yell like you stated.
Yeah.
The shape comes around the corner, and he's chasing after her, and she's banging on the door for them to let her in. They finally let her in, and here's the shot you were discussing, or you alluded to earlier, Derek, about his strength.
He steps through that window.
He just
where he just walks through the window.
Walks right through the door. Yeah. What do you guys think of this bit?
I was not expecting that at all. And then, I mean, of course, my mind immediately goes to like, that actor had to just step through like some like a sheet of breakaway glass or whatever,
Yeah.
which is hilarious to me.
It's kind of hokey, but I
Yeah.
like it too. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool shot. I think it's kind of cool that he's just so tough that he walks through it. But I really like when he gets shot afterwards. I think he looks great because he's all like, beat up and shot to shit. He has multiple holes in his body at this point from multiple gunshot
Well, yeah,
wounds.
he's even got exit wounds from the previous gunshots.
Yeah. And so the deputy goes over to, or this, marshal goes over to check him out, and he's like, get away from him. And he's like, he quit breathing. And then he gets his throat slit with the scalpel. Idiot. Marion's already outside on the walkies. So we get our final showdown with Loomis, Laurie, and the Shape. And what do you guys think of the ending of this movie?
I thought it was crazy. I thought it was just crazy. I mean, like, it's just, I don't even know. I don't know where to start. I was shocked that that's how it ended, honestly.
Yeah, because you see the rest of them and you're like, what?
They get in the hospital room, right? They're in a room with him. And he
stabs Loomis.
He pokes Loomis. Okay, I'm just gonna say he pokes him.
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, he has that little scalpel, and I hate that they gave that as his weapon.
It's literally like the most pathetic thing. Like, he pokes him with this thing, and then Loomis is like just standing there. He's like, "Oh, I guess I should fall over now."
Yeah.
So he falls backwards, and then I'm like, okay, maybe he's just like faking it because he literally was just like barely poked. But I mean, I know that would hurt really bad and everything. But it was just such a small wound.
Yeah, I don't love the scalpel. I don't love that.
Yeah, it just didn't look good. It didn't look right.
Yeah.
It didn't look right. But yeah, I just thought that was so strange. And then what do they do? They like stab him in the eyes or something.
No, Laurie shoots him.
She shoots him.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you get the
both eyes. Which is a great
eyes.
shot, by the way.
Awesome.
The shot of the mask bleeding eyes is great. Yeah.
Yes, I loved it. Thought that was awesome. And then, but then he just starts like flailing around back and forth for so long. I was like,
yeah, they use the air to like distract him. And each time he hears a new one, he goes towards it.
Yep.
And they're loading the room with oxygen,
which is silly.
And of course, Loomis tells her to get out, and then he uses the lighter that was given to him by Hunt earlier in the movie, by the way, and says, "Michael, it's time," and then blows them both up.
Yep. Didn't expect that.
What do you think of this ending, Derek?
I actually think it was fairly strong. Her shooting him in the eye.
You have to remember, I'm sorry, I'll let you continue, but you have to remember this was going to be the last Michael Myers story. So keep that in mind. Go ahead, Derek.
I mean, it felt definitive. It makes you question, and I'd have to see the fourth one because we all know what number 3 was like.
Yeah.
We'd have to see the fourth one, but like, I do recall that in the later films, like, he's definitely got burned hands.
Yeah.
Like, that's explained, but the fact that he got shot in the eyes, you're just, like, my mind went to, well, okay. Well, now he'll never be able to see again.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, and I was thinking that today. I was like, maybe she shot him in like above the eye. You know what I mean? Like it bled down so he couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it grazed him. I mean, that's the only explanation for how they could continue forward. Or he's, pure evil and just doesn't need to see, I guess.
In which case, he wouldn't have flailed around.
That's true. So it had to have just
he would have
missed
just
his
known.
eyes and just blinded him enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's. I actually think it's one of the stronger parts about the movie because actually there's kind of nothing more scary than a guy who you just shot in the face twice and he's still not down and he's
still
got
coming for you,
scalpel, like trying to take you out.
Yeah, it is
I
really
would-
scary. I mean, it is silly, but it's also really scary if you put yourself in that room, like,
Oh, for
and
sure,
he's
yeah.
just swinging at you, and you're just like, oh my god. And then he just goes here. It's a kind of scary idea, yeah. And
Yeah, and
Loomis
then
is
the
mortally wounded, he thinks. So instead of just he also didn't have a Zippo. If he had a Zippo, he could pull a John McClane and just be like, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" and throw it in the room. But
Lesson
I will
learned.
say this:
Carry
the
a
shot
Zippo.
of the shape coming out of the fire on fire.
yeah,
Looking at it now, you can be like, "Oh yeah, it's totally a flame
dude
retardant
in the
suit."
suit.
That this,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
but the visual is amazing,
yeah, it's a
and
great
it's
visual, and it isn't one more shocking scare because you don't expect him
Mhm.
to walk out of that.
nope, you don't, and you're kind of like, okay, the sprinkler system going to come on, he's just going to keep going,
Yeah,
but then you realize it was the 80s, and you're like, they don't have sprinkler systems.
yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
yeah, and it takes place in
Sorry.
'78, so they probably did.
Yeah, safety regulations. What are those? But yeah, if you're in the moment and you're watching this happen, you're going to be like, man, what do you got to do? But it was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I actually thought it was a strong part.
Yeah, I like the ending too, because especially since it was supposed to be definitive,
Mhm.
and they had to, kind of retcon some stuff to make more sequels happen. But thankfully they did because we never want them to quit making Halloween movies. But yeah, I like the ending too. I think it's a strong ending because it is definitive, like you said, Derek. It's pretty definitive. He gets shot in the face and he gets blown up, and Dr. Loomis is blown up, which thankfully they made the right decision to bring him back in the sequels as well. So I'm guessing it just kind of threw him off to the side when that tire giant explosion happened. Actually,
Mhm.
they shot or they scripted a bit in 4 where that happens. They show how he survived the explosion. And instead, they just are like, well, he survived. Here he is. And he has burns on him. So you know. But yeah, I think it's strong too. And that is Halloween 2. Is there anything I missed that you want to talk about before we get to our ratings? There's one thing I do, the autopsy scene, where they're,
Mm.
I think it's pretty
Oh.
cool.
Gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. That
That dentist is all like scraping it. It's like, I don't know.
He's got no fillings, so I'm guessing he's like 17.
Yeah. And he's like, Michael Myers is
My-
20. Michael Myers is 21.
Must be him. Yeah, it can't
Yep.
be him.
I like that he's I like that Hunt is like ready and willing to go back out. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's not one of the dumb cops that are like, no, he's dead. Don't worry about it. He's like, send everybody back out.
yeah.
We're gonna keep going. We're gonna go until we find this guy because I don't want any more people to die in my town.
I do think that it was completely careless of Loomis he caused that innocent kid to die. And then the police are just like, oh, well, what are you going to do about it?
Kind of. I mean, yeah, he should never pointed the gun at the kid, but the kid does walk into the middle of traffic.
I mean,
And
he definitely does, but I would have ran away from him too.
This cop
He was drunk.
But this cop was not, or maybe he was, because he just fucking rid of this kid. Takes him out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think
yeah,
the
you're right, because they
fucked
do
up
say that
thing-
he was drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was real drunk.
but really, I think the most fucked up thing is how Loomis just stands there and watches this kid melt.
Well, there's nothing he can do, and he's kind of in shock. He's just
But
like
you're just gonna stare at that, and that's gonna be burned into your brain forever, literally. You know what I mean?
he's seen some
Like,
shit already.
Look away. Just look away. That's all I'm saying.
I think. Well, he's also not. He doesn't know. He thinks it might be the shit. He doesn't know. So he's trying
That's a
to
good
see: is this the shape? What is this?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out. That makes sense.
That's Halloween 2. Guys, what are our ratings on Halloween 2? Start with you, Derek.
I think we all gave the first one a 10.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Is
give
this
it
flying
a.
to your guys'
No, I was just playing around.
I was complimenting
we need
Lydia too.
We
Yeah,
need to have
we
like
just
an animated
we'll animate a fly.
go from my
Yeah.
screen to Jamie's to Derek's.
Go ahead, Derek.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I gave the first one a 10, and it earned it every bit. This one was fun. It was a good movie. I think I'm gonna rate it a 7, because it borrowed a lot from the first one, which it probably should, but I would have liked some of those scenes to have like a twist on them, to be more of this director's
Stamp.
yeah, exactly. There's other
Well-
ways to do some of those shots to make it your own, but you made a good point, like that boombox scene at the beginning. That was a really good shot.
Yeah.
It set everything up. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
there's a
with
couple
7.
of those, and I think he's fine. Yeah, I will say this before you get into yours, Lydia. We saw what happens when we let Rick Rosenthal put his stamp on a Halloween movie. We get Halloween Resurrection. So maybe you should just follow John Carpenter's blueprint from now on. Lydia, what do you give Halloween 2? Waffles.
I'm actually gonna give it an 8. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I'm shocked that I have never like fully watched it through. And I'm definitely gonna watch it probably more often. Like, I mean, it's not, the first one is just, iconic and classic, but this one is like up there, like it's a great story. And like you said, it's almost like a comfort movie as far as like comfort horror goes. Like, this is watchable in that way, and like the music and the tone and everything is kind of like weirdly comforting, as even terrifying. I don't know. That's a whole different conversation of like comfort horror, like what does comfort horror mean? But I think it's an 8. I really liked it. I liked a lot of shots, and I really liked seeing Laurie Strode again. And like, she did amazing. She looked amazing, even though she should look really messed up. She looks more beautified in this one somehow.
Yeah, well, she's definitely wearing a wig.
Yeah, that wig.
She had cut her hair short by this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the acting is really good, and
the acting is very strong in this. Yeah,
pretty good as well. I think. So.
I'm in agreement with both of you. I give Halloween 2 a 7.5. I think it's before the David Gordon Green trilogy. I think it's my favorite. Well, it is. It is my favorite of the Halloween sequels. I think it's the best of the Halloween sequels. There's so much to like about it. The era that it's set in, and the shot selection is pretty good. The story is fine and fun. We have a couple of really great kills, and the music just is 10 plus. The music kicks ass. And yeah, it is a comfort horror movie. It's just fits that it's just 1981. This is slasher peak, man. 1981 is slasher peak. 81 to 89 is where it all happens, guys. So yeah, 7.5 for me. I really always have and always will like Halloween 2. So you know what time it is, guys?
Oh, I do.
Uh-oh.
Time
is it
to
Monsters
aconize.
time?
No, not Monsters.
Oh, yeah. I know, I was kidding.
It's time to aconize Halloween 2.
Thrill me. Thrill me. Thrill me. Thrill me. Thrill me.
For a 1-year anniversary, who is the great Tom Atkins going to play?
I would have made him the deputy.
Hunt? You would have made him Hunt?
Yep. I would have made him Hunt.
You could make him Bud.
Bud. I was going to say Bud.
He would have been a really good Bud.
Yeah.
He would have been a good Bud.
Yeah.
Here I am
Bud.
typecasting him.
Yeah. He has to. It would be
Always.
fun for him to be Bud, because then he could He's gets the lady. He has, of course, has a topless scene with a lady, of course.
He's smoking a joint in the hospital.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah.
yeah, he is totally smoking a joint. Yeah.
He's a cool guy. All right, so he's gonna have to.
He's a cool guy. Yeah.
He's a cool
You
guy.
are not cool unless you pee your pants.
That's true. Pee in your pants is the coolest. If pee in your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
Or if you are in Europe, kilometers, Davis.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Good old Kilometers Davis. That's a joke right there.
I'm leaving again.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
It's
Is
been
that
a
the
year,
kind of
and
jokes
I
that-
think it's about time to retire, guys. Don't you?
Oh my god. So guys, happy 1 year anniversary. Happy 1 year anniversary. We've been doing this for
Yeah.
1 year, and many more to go. Be sure to stay tuned for Secret Admirer. It is coming out the weekend after this airs. It'll be populating, so give it all the clicks and all the likes and all the comments and all the shares, because we want it to be even bigger than Conjuring 2, which is at like almost 6,000 views. So let's get that one up there. You can follow us on social media at Scream Bloody Movies on Facebook. What am I doing? I went all crazy, like my brain quit working. Let's start that again.
Because we're getting old. This is 1 year in.
Yeah, 1 year.
You're gonna start
can
needing
follow
note
us-
cards.
No shit. You can follow us on social media. Let's try it again. Follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. Follow us on Instagram at Scream Bloody Movies. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow Lydia at Lydia is Spooky. You can follow Derek at DDogleymaster. You can follow me at Racket. Go to the website, HiLaProductions.com, and you can get merch, like a cup, a shirt, tons of different t-shirts designed by Lydia. And all of the shorts are there, and all the shorts are now available on the YouTube page. So please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's grow the show. Let's grow the channel. And thank you for sticking with us for 1 year. Here's to many more.
And wait,
So-
before we go,
Okay?
we have to tell them what's next. What's next week's
That's
movie?
true. Derek, what is our next movie?
Well, I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and I feel like it is time to call upon the Krites. We're gonna do Critters.
Man.
Oh, Critters. Okay. Critters. All right. All right. Critters.
Critter
What's
time.
Critters? Let's see if Critters is streaming anywhere.
I'll be shocked if it is.
I think
Man, I
it's
hope it is.
on. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. I know there was the newest one was on Shudder for a while. So you can find Critters on YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, Google Play, and Vudu. So that is next week's episode, Critters. Thank you for watching and sticking with us this year, and we will see you next episode. So until then, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I am Jamie Hiles, and remember, if you're going to scream, scream bloody movies. Good night.